Hey everybody, it's Mike Balzano, publisher with R&R and the Experience events. And we did it. We made it through the Chattanooga event in the spring, and it was a nice success. I think we provided a lot of value for all the exhibitors and a big agenda. And all my team was so excited we could relax now. Not so fast, because guess what? We got a big monster hurricane coming down the street. And it is the Experience in Las Vegas. And I'm so happy to come back and start this show again. This is episode 18 of Trade Talks Unlocking the Experience. Let's get right to it with my guest, who is... He is a proud son of Los Angeles, California originally. He danced around every state that appears in the Pac-10. He's a trainer, a manager, a demonstrator, an exhibitor, a speaker. He's a certified master technician. He's a past celebrity impersonator. There's a 100% chance we're going to talk about that in a little bit.
Oh, no.
he's the sole, and most of all, we know him. He's the sole distributor of Goldmorr products in the United States and the general manager of Goldmorr USA. Please welcome from Goldmorr, Mr. Randy Gandara. Hey, Randy.
Hey, how you doing, Michael?
I'm doing good. Thanks for taking some time today. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Well, we're coming up to your part of the country for the next event, as we do every September, and you've been a big part of the experience. And I really want people to get to know a little bit more about you. You've been in the industry for a long time and doing a lot of things with us, but I was interested to see you started your career with Micron, actually, so many years ago.
I did. Yeah, I mean, I was pretty much in the semiconductor industry for the early on of my career, Never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that one day perhaps I might just go change my career, midstream, if you will. But nevertheless, yeah, I spent 18 years in the semiconductor industry, Micron Technology. They're in Boise, Idaho. I was born in Los Angeles, grew up in Idaho, lived there for a good part. Yet grew, like I said, I grew up in Idaho. But Micron Technology was a great company to work for, and just was looking for something different, and changed my career later on.
Those tech, I mean, especially back then, 1988. I mean, that's right about when I started to go to school, college. I mean, and it's just, that's when you had to be in, that's when technology really started booming, right? That's when really we started, one of those huge master computers we used to have in our classrooms. So it started to really roll. So that was good timing on your part. I don't have to say though, so many years later, you went to a certified indoor air. And, I know your father-in-law, David Quinn, he started that. Did he start that company with you, or what was the rationale there?
No, we both considered it together. They were living in Idaho at the time, and they were wanting to relocate up to Washington State. My brother-in-law at the time, he had a business, a home builder business in Western Washington. So they were building a bunch of homes up there. And I was offered a sales position in the company at the time. But then at that point, he was like, but you ever consider being your own business owner, perhaps? He's like, there's a real need for mold remediation up here. And I'm like, boy, I don't know. Sounds appealing, but a little intimidating, not quite sure. Like I said, never in my wildest dreams would I ever have thought that I would change and shift industries and go do something like that after 18 years in the semiconductor industry. No, never had I had any intentions of becoming a small business owner either, for that matter. But lo and behold, we did a lot of research, investigated, started to identify the need, and he was ready for a change anyways and was going to move and be where his other daughter was, up in Western Washington. And so the more we investigated, we were like, yeah, let's give this a go. Let's try it. I figured you won't know what is there potentially unless you try your hand at it, right? So just like anything, there's no reward without the risk. And there was a lot of risk in that. Had the comfort of being an employee, making a decent wage, and the comfort of having good insurance plans, all that good stuff, everybody around you. I mean, the department that I was in had 1,000 people in it. There was like 10,000 employees right there in Boise at that time. So it was a big company. So it was a huge, huge shift for me.
That's interesting. And I talked to so many people on this. I learned so much from just talking to leaders like yourself on this. And it seems like everybody, that's the two things. Either there's a nice opportunity to grow out my own business. Most people say, I get into it. I thought it was cool. I get to help people, especially in the restoration side of things. Their house just got flooded or fire or whatnot. And that's what you're doing too. I mean, this is on the highest level, coming in and just helping people is a
Yeah.
great reason to keep going. So, and you're there for, now you're still doing that, correct? You still have that company open.
I still have the business there in Western Washington, and it was, I mean, back in 2011, I mean, we tried various product solutions for mold remediation, if you will, and I could
Yep.
never get the results that we've saw. My cousin at the time, Brett Salee, who helps me today as national trainer for Goldmorr, he was actually the first one to introduce me to the idea of the Goldmorr system.
Mm-hmm.
And it was at the experience where he learned about that was going to. And he actually called me and said, "Hey, Randy, we know you do mold already. Have you ever heard of this?" I'm like, "Yeah, there's no silver bullet, basically. Nope, I don't have the time to go. If you want to go check it out, go ahead and do it." And they were really trying to get into, because he had their own restoration company over in Arkansas at the time.
Right.
So he went to it. Lo and behold, he comes back to me and says, "Hey, it's really, really interesting. You might want to check it out." So he piqued my curiosity, got my interest. About 3 months later, I went to the training from the founders of Australia, or the founders of Goldmorr, who live in Australia. They were coming up in Atlanta, Georgia. I went to the training and I had a job lined up for me right away, and took a little spray bottle with me on the job site. Day after I returned home, couldn't believe my eyes. Couldn't believe what I saw. I popped the lid open in the access hole in the hallway going into the attic while my guys were in the trailer getting all suited up, and literally dissolved before my eyes on the black staining that I could never get rid of before. Never.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, holy cow. I hollered out to my guys, "Hey, come here, take a look at this. You got to see this." And we all huddled around that access hole, and we were like, "That is amazing," you know? So that was our first experience. And to this day, when people use it for the first time and they have a similar experience, no pun intended,
Right.
but
Oh,
when they get that experience,
yes.
that to me is golden, if you will, because they're starting to experience and see the benefits, the true potential of using the system. And that's just the visual side.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have the other side, when you get rid of the particulates in the air and you get clearances on your testing methods afterwards, and you get people that are thanking you for the work that you've done, right? Like you said, we help people in those types of situations, and it saves them a lot of money in the end.
It sure does. And it is, I had a moment like that. A lot of people know my wife was a sales manager and is for R&R for a long time. And before I even knew what it was, we moved down to South Florida, and there's every house down here has a little bit of mold. You had to kind of live with it. You know, it did not get out of control. And I believe she actually got some product from you, if I'm allowed to say that. I don't know. We had a problem with we had a small mold issue in our bathroom, and it's gone. We just took care of it ourselves. It was great. We followed the directions, got it done. And it was some powerful stuff. So I forgot to have 10 years in the making for thanking you for that too. I appreciate
Awesome.
it.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's great that you learned, you kind of started at the experience learning a lot of this stuff too. It makes me happy. I think we go really out of our way to make sure this is a learning experience and hands-on and stuff like that. So that's music to my ears, hearing that story from you.
For
Hey,
sure.
you're the sole distributor of Goldmorr products in the United States.
Yes.
Mycotoxins, mold removal. You got something special coming up next week, and I will let you promote a little bit.
Well, yeah, actually, it's in 3 weeks from now. We will be in Dallas, and we're hosting our third annual Goldmorr convention for our members. We're actually opening it up to the full audience because lo and behold, it was actually back in 2019, Michael, when I introduced this whole educational piece about mycotoxins, the importance of it. Why is it so important? What's the challenge here?
Right.
And now, as an industry, we have learned that much more. But I introduced that topic back in 2019, and it was, it was received well, had a pretty decent audience there that was participating. And then, of course, COVID hit, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
COVID hit, it shuts everything down. It was literally within maybe 3 months of delivering that message back in 2019. I think COVID shut down globally. And so during that time, it's actually allowed the founders that much more time to start digging in deeper and deeper and deeper to getting to where we are today.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, we're going to be hosting in 3 weeks in Dallas, Texas, talking more and more about mycotoxins, what it means for us as an industry, because it is going to shape the industry moving forward. Myco coming from the word meaning a fungus or mold, if you will, and
Right.
toxins, right? It's poison.
Right.
So we're talking about these poisons that are being released from mold. And so we're going to get into that educational piece. And then we also are going to be featuring a newer product that we've had available that is going to help us to remove mycotoxins effectively. It's a whole nother level of cleaning, if you will, in the industry. But if you're involved with water damage and you're
Mhm.
involved with mold remediation today, guess what? You will naturally be involved, whether you like it or not, or want to be or not. You're going to be involved with mycotoxins one way or the other. So how do we protect ourselves against it? That's going to be the gist of our convention that we're going to be hosting and talking about that further.
I have to, and this is my fault, but this is, I forgot to mention, this is going to be airing on November or May 2nd. So by the time you get this, you're only gonna have a week to get your tickets and your passes to the event. How can they do that? Right? Can they still get to admission? How do they get to the event?
Yeah, if you go to our online store, or basically on our goldmorrusa.com website, there's where you can see, you'll have a pop-up window that'll talk about the convention that we've had available to the public. We've featured it in magazines. We featured it recently at a conference that we attended. So we're trying to get the word out there to everybody, general public. Even inspectors are interested in this information. Hygienists are interested in this. Medical professionals are interested in this because guess what? It involves people that are deathly ill as a result of being exposed to these toxins.
Right.
So from that standpoint, all parties involved, if there's something that we can do to help potentially, and then we've got some breaking news that we're going to introduce there too as another level, an extension of the type of testing that's available today. So we're going to be releasing that there as well. But yeah, go to goldmorrusa.com and you'll be able to see the window that talks about our convention coming up. It's one of the
Okay.
events.
Perfect. Get there, learn a lot about this very important topic. And then we'll turn our attention after that to the big show in September, which is going to be the experience. Of course, it's going to be September 4th through the 6th at the Caesars Forum, where we were at the last couple of years. We're back there again. A couple changes, some updates. We're excited about it. Now, you already touched on a little bit of a great experience story, but do you remember when your first time was that was it? Probably. You remember how long ago that was?
You know, it's probably, I'm going to say, I would guess around 2015, maybe
Mm.
somewhere in there, was when I first attended the experience, you know. And but we've been participating as vendors and
Yep.
exhibitors
Mm-hmm.
at the experience trade show and been gold sponsors consistently the
Mm-hmm.
past few years. And so I've been, you know, since I've been sole distributor since 2017, we've participated uh, annually with your event.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you've been an exhibitor, a speaker, sponsor. You've been very heavily involved, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to have you on. It was not just, I mean, you and Goldmorr have been and Brett have been a real pillar of this for a long time. So I'd like to find out,
Thanks.
I'd like to figure out a little more about the people. Let's talk about the
Sure.
people a little more about them. It's kind of cool, and we're all coming together
Yeah.
for this. So, so you've been about 20 years. Do you remember how many times you've spoken? That's got to be several times by now.
Well, I mean, I've done like webinars
Right.
here, but I think at the experience, for example, will be the third time coming
Got
up
it.
this year, right? And anytime we can get in front of an audience and at least share nuggets of information and help to educate and connect some of those dots for people. I mean, at the end of the day, it's one of those things. It could be very dry and boring and this and that, but we're trying to help.
Right.
Really, we're trying to help to inform people of the seriousness that we should take with this, but also the solutions that we have in place that will help to effectively remediate against it.
That's wonderful. I couldn't agree more. I think that's the whole point of this. I mean, in your opinion, if I'm coming up to your booth and saying, well, I don't know about this experience, Randy, why should I why should I exhibit at it or just even attend? What would you tell them?
Why should you attend? Because, you know, if you're in the cleaning and the restoration industry, for example, right, it's the place to be to see what new products are available, what equipment is out there, you know, how do we better protect ourselves, or what potential solutions do we have in place that is going to help us as a business to maybe streamline that operation even further. We always want to try to benefit from each other's expertise, people that have been in the industry for years and years and years. Maybe there's a new way of doing things. Maybe there's something out there that can help me in my business to improve or to offer, exceptional services potentially to your customers that will help them. And at the end of the day, hopefully that we're providing a quality service that we can introduce to the environment in your local communities.
Perfect. Now
But yeah, it's a great place, honestly, to learn from other industry experts, shared content, and a good networking environment as well. There's a lot of people like yourself and others that we get to see regularly. And then there's new ones that come through the booth. I always love the first time they come through and they watch our videos. Sometimes they'll huddle up in the back in a group and they're like watching the videos that we have, and it's like, it's okay, guys, we're not going to bite you. Come on over.
Yeah.
And I love when they go, is that for real? Or I've had people before say, oh, you doctored that, right? Or anybody can take it. No. These are my videos. These are my pictures from jobs that I've done because I'm in the industry as well. I have my own restoration business. So nevertheless, I get all of those photos that I get to see and sift through on a daily basis. But yeah, the Vegas show is a great show. A good vibe there, good amount of people, traffic-wise, coming and going. And so, yeah, it's a great networking opportunity there as well.
Thank you. Yeah, we work real hard to make it hands-on and learning, get your hands dirty and learn a little bit. So thank you for saying it. Yeah, almost like I wrote that answer for you. Thank you. That's what we want to All right. You're going to be speaking again. You're exhibiting and sponsoring, but before we leave, we got to go through 3 personal questions that we talk about with everybody. These are not that personal, but maybe it depends on you. I was like that. You know what? Hey. I borrow something from every podcast. This is stolen from Brett Goldstein's, the guy from Ted Lasso. Don't tell Brett.
And this is going to be for the Vegas show. Is that right?
That's correct.
So what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas?
Yeah. Or even the podcast. Same thing. Right. I won't even release this if you don't want. That's too bad. All right.
It's all good.
Okay. Are you still there? I think I may have lost you for a second. I think we're good. All right. Here we go. What is your favorite movie of all time?
My favorite movie of all time. Boy, I can't say there's just like one favorite movie, and I don't get into a lot of the greatest hype movies and stuff, but I have a tendency to gravitate towards true stories and the underdogs, if you will. So some of my favorite, Seabiscuit, for example, right?
Yep.
Seabiscuit, great movie. Remember the Titans. I love sports. Also, there's the underdog, right? They're competitive. They're doing well. So from that standpoint, I like movies like that. More dramatic stuff, if you will. Aaron Brockovich.
Okay.
Right? Aaron Brockovich, Rainmaker. Here you have again the little guys from a legal standpoint, trying to step up and protect the innocent or other victims. So I love those types of movies.
The first ones you were talking about, I mean, guys our age, I was thinking also like Hoosiers and
Hoosiers,
The Natural, sure. Rocky, of course, right? And one.
Balboa.
Anyway.
No rematch.
All right. What is your favorite band or musical artist?
All right. So here we go. It's always been my life's dream to be in restoration, but I'm going to take you back in time.
Go on.
Well, back in the day, all right, my favorite artist growing up, Michael Jackson. I mean, since I was a little kid, when I got to see him for the first time at the MGM Grand Hotel, and I was maybe only 6 or 7 years old at a dinner show there, at that point is when I became a true fan of his. So growing up, when I got into junior high school, I had my own little routine that I was able to do. So got into doing an MJ routine. Got into break dancing. So yeah, to me, that was as an artist. And today I can still listen to some of those tunes and that music, and it's timeless.
This also ties into the last question. You actually answered 2 questions at once there. What I was going to ask, unless you have a different answer, but what should, what is something people would be surprised to find out about you? I was hoping you'd say, well, for a while I did some Michael Jackson impressions. I sung and danced like it, which is awesome. I love that. I was kind of leading you into that. You took the bait. I've seen the pictures. You look great. Go ahead.
No, So growing up, that's what it was. For me, it was MJ. I always wanted to be like MJ, and it carried on through. I mean, it started back in talent shows. Before MJ, it was Saturday Night Fever, or
Right.
yeah,
Yes.
Saturday Night
Yes.
Fever, right? So John Travolta,
Mhm.
I had that in elementary school, and then I gravitated towards MJ during junior high. So those were things that's kind of stuck with me. My great aunt in Las Vegas, she gave me the bling. I got the bow tie with the sequin tie and the sequin glove and the sequin socks, and got to incorporate that into my act, if you will. So yeah, when I was younger,
I
entertaining was what I was wanting to do. Had no idea I'd end up being considered the mold guy.
you don't think that when you're 15, right? I'm going to talk about mold or sell ads for mold people and stuff. No, wasn't it. But I've got some fantastic story. How was your moonwalk? Can you do it pretty well?
Well, not anymore.
But
I
no,
got
no, I'm
some
not.
meniscus, you know.
I know we're gonna do yoga before we do anything now, but I mean, way back when you could do it, right? Pretty
Oh
good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's always fun back in the day. Enjoyed that.
I love it. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thanks for being so honest with us. Those are great answers. You're such a good guy and a good part of the experience. We appreciate you taking some time today to sit down with me, and we'll see you soon. But I will tell you, for everybody, please make plans to attend the Experience Convention. This is the big one. September 4th through the 6th at Caesars Forum in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. Register through our website, rnrmagonline.com. You can find this and all R&R videos and podcasts on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. Follow us if you haven't already, and also feel free to leave a quick review. Also, please follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Very special thank you to our guest, Mr. Randy Gandara. This is Trade Talks, Unlocking the Experience. Thanks for joining us. We look forward to seeing you again next week.